What is going on, guys? I see I'm Low Key Fat. What's up, Low Key Fat? Thanks for stopping in tonight. Just trying to see what's up. Tonight we're going to talk to David Rosenberg. He has his own business in California. You guys can kind of pick his brain to see how he does things over there. I got his links to all the I got in the description, I have the link to a lot of his social media. So he's one of the ones that I was checking out on YouTube a while back, checking out how he does things. And so he has videos. He has his YouTube channel. I think he actually has 2 YouTube channels, if I'm not mistaken. What is going on, Zach? Yeah, no, check the links down in the description, guys. If you guys start and check out his social media, Instagram. I mean, they crush it over there in California, man. They've been tinting for a long time. So I don't even know how long they've been tinting. So once he steps in, we can see what's going on here. What is up, Al? Al has that awesome shop he's building. I see you got some sound in there today, man. What's going on, Al? Thanks for stopping in real quick. Like I said, I'm probably streaming for about an hour. Al, we gotta get Al in the shop too. We gotta get Al in the stream because Al has to. I'm curious on Al's story too, man. I'm sure we can learn a lot from Al too. Thanks for stopping in, Al. I appreciate it. 5th install. Corey's over there slamming cars. What is going on? Hey, I believe it. I believe it. Hey, people don't see sometimes tinting is a lot of work. Running around cars for hours, man, and checking every little detail, and your mind is going crazy. So no, tinting can be stressful sometimes. You know what I mean? So I believe that you are tired, but hey, you're crushing it, man. That's inspirational. I have a car sitting in my garage right now, pulled in from the snow. It's just kind of drying off and everything. I figure I'll let the heat run out there. I get it dried now, and then I got to go tint that later tonight. So Dave is getting set up. I can see Dave getting his stuff set up. No, Al, yeah, for sure, man. We're gonna have you set up because I'm curious to pick people's brains. I'm like that little interviewer. I want to know more, man, because you're in Indiana. I wouldn't mind running over by you and hanging out and kind of just checking your setup out one day. You got that awesome garage getting started going on. You got Dave. What's going on, Dave? We'll start. Okay, so Corey starting to ramp up down here in Louisiana. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. So what is going on? We got Dave Rosenberg ready to roll here. What's going on, Dave?
You can hear me, right?
Oh, man, you're all good. You're all good in there. No doubt. Clear as a bell.
Yeah, so am I supposed to be able to hear you through the earbuds or just through the phone?
You should be able to hear me either one way. But if you hear me through the phone, that's okay. But your earbuds will make it so we don't hear the sound going back and forth. So
yeah, I'm not
hear me
on this end here, but I don't know if that's on my side or if I didn't accept something I wasn't supposed to, or, I'm supposed to.
Let me, maybe, yeah, just make sure. Yeah, usually I think you should be able to hear me through your phone, I think.
Yeah, I'm only hearing you through my phone, and then I'm guessing maybe you're hearing me talk through here, or maybe I didn't accept the microphone. I don't know.
Yep. Nope. You're good. I'm hearing you through your phone mic, and then you're hearing me through the thing. So no, we're good because my sound won't come through your phone. So no, you're good. You're good to go.
Sounds good.
So what is going on with you?
Just relaxing today. Did a little bit of work from the computer and kind of stayed home all day and relaxed.
There you go. There you go. Hey, you need one of those days, right?
Yeah, didn't work today. I got work tomorrow morning. I'll be at work about 6 in the morning.
Oh, I hear you. Like I was telling the guys, I got a car out there waiting right now. It snowed last night, so that thing is all covered with snow. So I pulled it in the garage. I'm gonna let it kind of warm up and cool up, but I gotta go get that car done tonight because I'm not gonna have the time tomorrow. So I gotta run like an hour and tint like mobile. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. I know we got
then you don't have to go into the other jobs, or how is that scheduled out for you?
My other things is Tuesday and Thursday. I go to where I used to live. A buddy has a shop. And then on Wednesday, I go to another area. So Monday, Friday, and the weekend, I'm kind of all here around local here. Yep. So that's how it works for me.
Yeah, your voice is a little crackly on my end.
Is it? Yeah, I do hear that. I hear that noise coming through. Something is going back around, I think. Make sure you have all your volumes adjusted right.
I mean, I don't know if I unplugged my might plug it back in if that will help make it work.
Yeah.
Should I try?
Yeah, try to plug that back in and see if it.
Yeah, I just unplugged it. Got it plugged back in. You hear that?
Yep.
Can you hear me now or no?
I can hear you. Yep.
I almost wonder if it just didn't connect to the. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Okay, now I do think I'm hearing it through my phone. I unplugged my battery because I had like that the device that does both the power and the earbuds, but hopefully my battery will last long enough now.
See, now you sound good now. You sound even better. And I don't think I'm getting that,
yeah,
that spin
like
around
now
back.
The microphone's working.
Yep. Awesome. So tell the guys like, see, this is what I'm curious. Like, I know that you started in your garage, and that was one of the things that led me to your channel. Like, I'm gonna be starting in my garage. He's in his garage. So talk about how you started, like, and just how did you even learn to start tinting? You know what I mean? Like, what is kind of like your story?
Yeah, I mean, I was in Southern California. I worked at a pizza place, and one of the guys that worked there was a partial business owner. And he was kind of just looking for, that summertime work help. And he was asking somebody else. I overheard him and, can kind of say I weaseled my way in. And he just kind of looked at me funny, like I wasn't really even talking to you. But he said, like, you can go pick up an application if you want. So I kind of hustled down there the next day, I think, got the application, filled it out in a day, turned it back in. And they called me like maybe that week later saying, you seem to be, a little eager to get the job. The other guy hasn't even contacted us back. So I guess, we'll give you a shot. And then they were pretty adamant about the whole, we're not going to teach you how to tint back windows. We just need someone to help. And so I was at that time, I was pretty, I think I was barely 21, if not just 20. And I'm just like, I'm just happy to be working at a tint place, not really thinking of a future of taking over a tinting business. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And then I think I was there for a good 2 years, if not a year, and kind of got laid off and then decided to move back to Northern California where I grew up. And did that and got a job in Sacramento, which was like about almost a full hour commute for me. And then that's where I learned how to do back windows. That took another maybe good year. So I think it was like 3 years term that I felt like now I know everything, at least enough that if I did tint a car, cutting patterns by hand and everything. And then wound up getting, I did feel like it was a little bit of a dead end job at the time because I was just working for a shop. I had no future idea what my pay scale was ever going to be. And then I wound up getting a job in a totally different field in the casino industry. And I did that for like 5 years, which made better money. And then eventually got laid off and kind of used that money that I saved up and said, you know what, that's what I want to do. I want to try to buy a house, finish off kind of junior college that I never completed, and kind of open up my own business. And so that place that I went to look for to rent, I was like, well, I got to find a 2-car garage, bare minimum 2-car garage. That's where I'm going to do my tint stuff from renting a house. And the first that was on a property management list was actually a 3-car garage. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think 3-car garage. I'm going to get this. So I signed up for that, got that, and then was starting to go back to finish out junior college. I had a job at a bail bonds company. And then I actually kind of tinted a little bit part-time when I could before work or on the weekends. And it stayed. I lived in a small town, so I was able to, I knew a lot of people. So I was getting that word of mouth out there. And there was probably maybe 2-3 other real tinting companies in that town, this town that I'm at.
Yeah.
And then finally I was doing better at home than I was at the bail bonds place. So I quit that. And then I really didn't get too much. I got a little bit of grief with kind of working out of my garage, but it was usually a little bit of a, you're not really causing any problems. So until something goes wrong, I'm not, the people that had the authority decided to leave me alone. And then, I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. And then finally, one of the city officials, a newer person, I think like third or fourth down the road of different people having his job, he finally said, no, you can't be this big out of your garage. And so I was able to get a place like 10 minutes away from where I was living. And so I'm still close. So that made that nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So when was that then? So I was about like, what, 2 years ago? Are you talking about the shop you're in now then? Or
Yeah, the shop I'm in now, I think it's been 3 years. I think we moved
okay.
in November of 2017. So kind of almost 2018 is when we say we started. So all of 18, all of 19, all of 20. And now we're into 21. So we're like 3+ years.
Really? Okay. Okay. And then how do you think that transition has been? Because I mean, I'm assuming like a lot of us that do out of our garage, you're by appointment, and stuff like that. Did you have a lot of people just walking in compared to now you got your shop where you got walk-ins, you can get that extra guy driving home or something,
I was definitely always more first come, first serve. I call it my own anxiety, but I just don't like no shows. I always show up wherever I'm going 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes early. So when anybody's running 5 minutes late, it disappoints who I am. You know what I mean? And then it's just also it's not fun to have to, when the customer's always right, deal with somebody's their personality of being late. They attack you because they want to get in. So they're like, hey man, sorry I'm late. My kid this or my this that. And if the customer's always right, how do you tell them? Too bad. They don't like remarks like that. So the first come, first serve, it's true to say, I always joke around and say that statement, a bird in the bush is worth more than, or what is that? The bird in the bush is worth more. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. Right?
Okay.
A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. And so it's the same thing at work. A car in the garage is worth more than two on the books because I'm working on the job rather than hoping two will show up. So I'd rather take what pulls up than what says might pull up. And then the transition, like you say, we're still first come, first serve. I mean, as I say, I get to work at 6, a little before, a little after 6, maybe to open at 7. And usually within, 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times is there's somebody there just before 7 when we open. So I've staged the shop ready to go, and there's our first customer just randomly showing up.
That's crazy to me that you guys do first come, first serve because everyone is so used to booking. Scheduling. If you're not on the schedule, you know what I mean? I need to run by a schedule. That's crazy that you guys can do first come, first serve. You know what I mean?
And the other advantage I think I had is I've kind of set myself up in the beginning without surveillance cameras. I had a window that kind of faced the front of the house. And that's where I put my computer. And let's just say that's where I would focus my time, wasting time, waiting on time for someone to show up. And if someone pulled up, I could see them in the window. I'd run out there. And I always felt that was important, that every customer that pulled up didn't walk up to an empty garage. They generally would walk up to somebody either already working or somebody busting out the door like, hey, how can I help you? So nobody ever just stood around like, where am I? What am I doing? And then I eventually got the surveillance cameras. So I was always constantly either just goofing off on the computer or wait for someone to show up and work.
Right. And I try to do that too. Even at my house, I try to say, text me when you're on the way, when you're getting close. I can walk out there, I can greet them, get the car pulled in. So I don't like people like looking like, because I got a shop across my way and they'll go to the shop, they look in the shop, and they'll look over at the house, and I'm like, so I try to make sure to get there and greet them and do all that as well too. I mean, in a house situation, No,
and I think like you said, I had a really nice location that my garage faced. I was on the corner, and across the street, my next neighbor across the street, their house actually faced east and west, where mine was north and south. So I was able to park cars right across the street. I eventually had quite a bit of my backyard cemented. And so, I mean, I literally had enough space to probably park, more than 6, 7 cars at one point without appearing too crowded, and was able to, try to encourage people to pick their cars up. It's not as important now since we have our own parking lot at our work. But before, it was a little important to make sure people would kind of come get their car to leave us more room for the next.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's crazy. I know Al says you barely do walk-ins, but if there's sometimes we know we knock them out. Someone we know, we knock them out. Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to do a walk-in because a walk-in for me means I'm getting up off my couch or something, and the guy's coming in here, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go take this car. So the walk-ins for me are tough. Most of the people with me is social media though. They'll message me, say, hey, do you think I have time today? So I've kind of built up my business pretty much around Facebook. So if Facebook were to just demolish tomorrow, I might be messed up. They'd be calling me, which is, I do a lot of my business off Facebook. So yeah, that's how I do it, and Google, I guess.
Yeah, I always just enjoyed that term. I mean, I could only handle so much, and if someone came in and then wanted a windshield, you're back against that term. Now you have to tell your customer, I'd like to help you out, but I got a car coming in 2 hours, and I can't tint your car like we planned and add a windshield. So now once again, I'm on a
Yeah.
negative conversation with the customer. But now if it's just first come, first serve, and somebody says, how long is it going to take? I could say, well, nothing's here now, but if something shows up, then you're bumped out of the spot. Or I'd say, I know I have 2 cars. If you can leave it for most of the day, it'll get done. If you have a time crunch, then maybe it's not the best day.
Right, right. Yeah, no, when you do have that appointments, it's a good and a bad thing, I guess. I mean, because I live by that appointment. I say, if you want to do a full windshield and a whole car, I know it's going to be about, 3.5 hours, or if you just want to do a set of fronts, I book them out an hour. I got another set of fronts, give me about an hour and a half so I can clean up and get another one in. So I base a lot of my scheduling around what they want to have done on their vehicle, which I think is important. And then, I do tell people, oh, I got one car this morning. I won't be able to fit you in because I try to see how much time I have and what I can get done and what they need in that amount of time. So that's what I do. But that's kind of cute. That's kind of different that you guys do by appointment. So then when do you just cut it off? I mean, when do you say, okay, 1 o'clock, I'm going to be done, or else we're going to be here till 8 o'clock at night? You know what I mean?
Well, if it's our full crew and there's the 4 of us, we could knock out a car in less than a real hour. And that's not including
Yeah.
the windshield. But I mean, any job we can assume shouldn't take us more than an hour. We definitely like to let cars sit a little while after they're finished to kind of dry
Yep.
out and just see how it's going. But people that call us and say, what, just like ordering food, what's the latest I can call in? And, that answer is we usually say, well, I mean, if we usually like to have maybe 2+, or at least 2 hours. If it's an hour and a half, that might work. If you're in front of our door with an hour to go, that's more important than as if you called us and say, I could be there at 4 if we're closing at 5. It's like, well, I can't trust a phone call, but I know if you're
Right.
at my shop at 4, I'll take you. If you tell me you're going to show up at 4, I might kind of decide, if it's a Honda Accord, maybe. But even sometimes they'll show up and there is old tint that they didn't think was there. And now you're like having to have a longer conversation to try to get something done. But usually I would say our common statement is 3 o'clock's our cutoff point, that if you're trying to show up after 3, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. And then if something, like I said, pulls up at 4:30 for 2 front doors, we probably will take 2 front doors at 4:30.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate the little super chat, man. I thank you. Jamie's been giving me a bunch of ideas. He's the one that gave me an idea on that rolling cart video that I just had. Appreciate it, Jamie, man. Thanks for stopping in. Al said he has his up and newcomer son, Tinter, 16-year-old son, watching with us. What's up? Easton? Thanks for hanging out, man. We're trying to soak up this tint knowledge. But okay, another question I want to ask you guys. I know you guys use Flexfilm, okay? And you look at all these groups and everyone's on a tint brand. Everyone thinks it's best. How have you guys started using Flexfilm? Has that been your tint the whole time, your brand choice? And how did you guys get started using Flexfilm? Because I use Flexfilm, my main go-to film too. But I'm kind of curious about what made you guys choose the film you guys use.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I started out with Lumar because that's the company I came from was using Formula One, which is a division of Lumar. And I was able to get the phone number because one of the employees that I worked with used the Lumar and had the phone number and didn't mind, since I was kind of, an hour drive from his town. Not that he was really worried even that. And so I got the
Right.
phone number. I was able to, this was, like I said, I had maybe around 2000, and it was earlier when I used to tint a little bit here and there. I'd buy film, but originally I kind of started in 2003, 2004, and I don't remember if they had a buy-in, but you didn't have to require a business license, because at the time I don't think I had one. And then I got one soon after, but I didn't have to have it to get the first load of film. So I was able to get the Lumar. And I mean, I wouldn't say ignorant, but every year or two, they would kind of raise the price, which was like, well, pennies on the dollar. I can't just tell my next customer now my tint job's $164 or something, because,
Right.
and so I never really raised the price. And, if you did the math, I think maybe I could have and should have stuck around longer, but I wound up, somebody, I think on YouTube gave me, some insight on, Midas, the Midas film. Is that what it is? A Midas? And I used them for a while.
Okay.
And then from Midas, I went to American Standard, and I was sticking with American Standard for a while. And even then, I mean, I didn't really know a lot about the types of films. My thought process was lifetime warranty, light to dark, up to limo. That's all I need. And then I saw Ralph somehow, YouTube, or he contacted me, and his price was the exact same at the time as the American Standard window film. So I actually wrote down a list of questions. I talked to him. I kind of asked all these things. He was able to, he loves to talk just like myself. So he was able to answer everything.
Right.
And then at the end, I just said, I didn't really feel not comfortable, but I just didn't know why I really would switch just yet. So I almost decided not to. And then within like maybe the next few weeks or a month or something, American Standard wound up just normally, as companies do, they raise their price a little bit. Yeah. And I really wasn't one to call back and say, is there something you could do for me? It's not, if that's what you do, that's what you do. It's not my business to tell you not. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to try out Flexfilm. And they even contacted me back, American Standard, and said, what happened? I kind of told him a bit of the story, and he said, we can go back to your other pricing. And I'm like, well, I don't want to now jump back and forth. So I stuck with the Flexfilm, and then, just like you say, and I'm sure there's been about ups and downs with Flexfilms. It seems to be on a good plane now, but I get the warranty issues taken care of if anything comes up. So, since the beginning, I've always had receipts, so I can always kind of take care of warranty issues. So I've kind of same story, just sticking with Flexfilm until, not to say something better comes along, but just I wouldn't say I'm there forever, but I don't have plans to switch at this point.
Right. I know Al said he went from SunGuard to Cordless. I never heard of that one. Lumar, AWS, ASW, Max Pro, and now Solar FX. Seems like a lot of people definitely like Solar FX too. So yeah, definitely. And I know you guys use a plotter you've always been using a plotter, right? You've had a plotter implemented even at your house. Yeah.
2006 is when I bought it. So I kind of started my business in 2003. Is when I kind of moved into that house that we were talking about. And then for the first year, it was just doing some side work. And then in 2004 is when I officially got my business license. And so I even got the plotter a couple of years later, but I was interested in it within the first year. So it took me the 2 years to finally get it.
Gotcha. And so what software are you using, and what plotter are you using now for your guys' shop?
In the beginning, because I was with Lumar, I was using Precision Cut. It was a pretty simple program. I enjoy the computer, so as far as the learning curve wasn't too stressful for me. The plotter, setting it up to cut right, there was a bit of a frustration there. But I stopped using, as I said, Lumar. I can't remember how far into it, maybe just a couple years after I got the plotter, and went on to Midas. But it took Lumar, for whatever reason, or a new policy, like over a year or two, so they finally said, you're not buying our film. We can't let you use the software anymore. So I don't even know what turned me on to it, but that's when I got a hold of Tint Tech 2020. And if you know or not, I use the software Flexi Sign, and I have been using that to do kind of vinyl stuff. And it's the exact same program. Tint Tech 2020 is Flexi Sign, just made to work with cutting film. And so it was like such this exciting transformation to go from a program I didn't want to have to leave to a program I'm already using. So that was a simple switch. But I've seen a little bit of some of the other software that people use, like from photos and whatnot. And I would guess they're all roughly the same. You've got your patterns, you put them in a spot, and you cut them. So I would think, like I said, any of them are about all doing the same thing. Right.
So I'm curious then. So in your shop, like I know you got you and Liz, and then you said you got two more in the shop helping, right? Liz's daughter and her boyfriend, right? Mm-hmm. How do you guys have it set up for like 4 people in the shop working together? I know for like some people don't know because they don't know you like I do, but you have Liz is kind of, you said is your go-to. She's always interacting with people. Then you got, so how do you guys maintain like operating in your shop? Like, you know what I mean? Whose role is what kind of, what do you guys, how do you shift
Yeah,
it up?
it's what's the word? Grateful that everyone seems to do their own part without this like implemented program. But like her
Yeah.
daughter is really good with everything, the software, the tinting, the customers, the paperwork. So she's kind of like, not my right hand man or however you want to say it, but like you said, Liz is great with keeping the customers occupied. When she's caught up with that, she's definitely picking up our slack. If she has to cut up cars, she's cutting up cars. If she sees that we've got the tint jobs handled, if she's over there seeing that we're slowing down on a tint job, then she'll just start tinting cars. And then
Yeah.
Dennis, Brittany's boyfriend, he's just the one that, like we're saying, not bottom of the barrel, but I mean, he just kind of sticks to the tinting unless one of the three of us aren't cutting up film or talking to a customer. But, I mean, as I say, we're almost all doing the same parts.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's no real, when a car comes in, who is supposed to get up and talk to them? Who is supposed to cut up the film? Who is supposed to be tinting it? But Brittany's just been kind of doing back windows a lot. Dennis and I do the doors. And like I said, Liz just kind of decides, if we need the help, then she can quickly pick up with us, or if she's kind of talking with the customer or doing more of the social media. So she kind of is floating around, making sure we're all on track. And then I like to
Yeah.
just stick to tinting. I let, if they're able to talk to the customers, I'd like to, I'm pretty fast and good at what I'm doing. So I like to just kind
Yeah.
of focus on the tinting part.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, that seems, yeah, I mean, I watch your videos and watch everything, so I know I'm kind of looking, but still, it's kind of cool to know more the in-depth side of it, you know what I mean? Because, you only know so much from videos and stuff like that. So, and the guys, I don't know if you guys know, but like I said before earlier, I got David's, a lot of his social media down in the thing, so go give him a follow, man. Check out his stuff, his YouTube channel. Like I said, we're all struggling with time to upload videos and trying to put stuff from our mind onto our channels, but check his channel out. Links are in the description. So give him a.
We lost Wayne. Yeah, like
So
I
how
said.
big?
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like you said, I mean, I've got my social media platforms. We had the artistic window tinting YouTube channel. That's where I did a lot of my old videos. I haven't really touched that one much.
Right,
And then
right.
the window tinting life, I put a little stuff on there once in a while. And then, like we say, with Liz's Instagram that we have for our business, the artistic window tinting on Instagram, that's kind of like a daily upload of our work.
Yep. I put those links down here, so everyone hopefully will be able to see those in the description after the video uploads. All that is down there, but I didn't put your artistic window tint light, but I'll go and put that one down there later. So hopefully people can check that out and see that as well. So for your shop, you guys have a two bay stall, or is it two with four? You could put 4 cars, or how many cars can you put in your shop at once?
As far as smaller cars, you could theoretically fit 4 cars in there, but one of them we've staged to have like a storage area. So there's like a shelving unit, and then it's got the white pegboard in front of it, so that behind there we've got some shelving and extra space. The other side is pretty much a full length. So if we have a large extended truck, we might have to pull it over there. But usually we could fit trucks and stuff on that first one spot, and then we could fit 2 on the other. And the waiting area is about almost close to the same size, but with the pandemic or whatever's going on, we've roped off our waiting area. So there's just kind of the come in, fill out paperwork, and then either leave or sit outside or something.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
But
Zach said he always likes.
Mhm.
What's that?
You said Zach's what? I've always.
Zach, I don't know. Can you see the comments on the bottom down there?
Yeah, I see what you're posting.
Okay.
I'm not watching the channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yep. Got Zach. He tints out of. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. But what? I'll probably slay it if I get it wrong. But I know Zach has his tint. We got a lot of people in here today. We got Jamie. We got Tint Pro. We got Zach. We got a lot of people that tint, and a lot of people that I see on Facebook and everything too. So that's very cool. You guys are in here hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, definitely. So one of the things, what was I going to ask? One quick second. Yeah, no, so I think another guy, where'd he go? Twisted Tint. Yeah. He was talking about how Flexfilm, Flexfilm customer service. I mean, the girls at Flexfilm, they will hook you up. So that's what I was going to say earlier. With Flexfilm, customer service is is awesome. I never met like anyone that has. I'm sorry. Okay, North Dakota. My yeah, Flexfilm has like customer service. I mean, even if they make a slight mistake, if something doesn't get sent out, I will call them and they will comp me something or send me something next day. Like you don't even have to even raise a note in your voice. I mean, if they know they did something, they will always correct it, and that has been awesome with them guys. So for me, just having that, knowing that I can rely on people, it's been awesome dealing with Flexfilm. So I've
Yeah,
loved
and
that.
I wouldn't say it like in the sense of making it sound like Flexfilm is a smaller company, but I do know, like you say, when I was with Lumar, if I made a call to get film or whatever, I just never felt kind of too personal, but I was probably on the lower end of a successful business. It's just a one guy, how many cars can you tint, versus a company that deals with people doing residential buying, 10 times as much film as I do a year. And
I
so
know.
then when I
Yeah.
moved to the other companies, just like you say, I didn't really feel as personable. But when I went over to Flexfilm, it was just like you said, everyone you talk to is really helpful. And I feel like, that I'm being treated as who they know me. They know who I am, and not just another phone
Right.
call to put down another order of film.
Right, right. And it's cool that you see like, Ralph and stuff in the groups. You know what I mean? You see people like we see you. So it's like this whole network of people that we kind of know and stuff like that. So that's cool too.
No, and I think, like you say, you hear so many people, even I think like it was Dean Minchell made a comment that, like, I think it was him, that if he's going to a shop to, talk over the business and they say, hey, I know we had an appointment, but I'm really busy. I don't know if I can get this in today. And he says, like, well, I'll put on an apron and start helping. A lot of these people
Oh yeah.
now that are reps are actually old tinters that,
Yeah.
were doing it in some variation before. Where before, I remember one time some guy was showing us how to use the soap method for the first time. And I didn't even follow through with it. But it just seemed like, I'm not blaming it on him, but he
Right.
just didn't seem to kind of have that even flow with it. Like, I'm sure they've taught him and he's done it for practice just to show off how it works. But I don't think he was a quote unquote full on tinter. And
Yeah. Yeah.
nowadays, it's almost like, 9 out of 10 of the people you talk to in the industry are old tinters, current tinters.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. How are you going to try to help someone if you really haven't experienced that, for yourself? You know what I mean? Yeah.
No,
It definitely helps.
I think it's crazy, like you say, how high the industry, like we say, when you see those magazines that come out, when you see the competitions that come in play, that it's like, how many assets of the business are higher in tiers that aren't even, like we said, there are people in buildings that don't even touch window tint, and they're just selling the product, making the brochures, contacting new vendors. It's a pretty depth thing where, but we still able to be kind of small fries. Like I started in the garage with nothing more than just, some boxes of film, some
Oh, I know.
squeegees, and, cars for customers.
I know, to me, so that kind of that raises me a question about the inventory stuff. So we'll get there quick. We'll get there in a second. But no, for me, I do that, and like I don't order a ton of film. And like I said, I'm that small guy, and I can order a few rolls or something. And yeah, no, they treat me the exact same. But that kind of brings me a question: like how much do you guys? What is your typical like? Do you have like an ordering process? Do you like just order when you need it, or do you like do big batch orders, or how do you guys maintain your inventory?
I mean, my 5% is the most purchased or sold product. Everybody wants that 5% on the back half of the car. And I
Okay.
just kind of say, just keep up with that stock. And when that stock is low, I'm just replenishing, up to 5+ boxes each order, if not more than 5, but at least 5.
Okay.
And then the
Okay.
rest is like maybe one of these, 2 of those. But, I just, like you say, I guess that's the best way to answer it. I just keep my eye on the 5%. And when the
Yeah.
5% is getting low, then I make my order for everything. Because I'm going through a lot more 5 than all the rest. And then I'm usually just using the TerraFlex and the Panaflex. And the Panaflex 5 doesn't sell as hard as the TerraFlex. So again, I don't have to pay attention to just the 5% and then base it off of that. But I do want to, like you say, I was thinking I do need to have like a program as far as getting with a higher level of employees and things, that if I'm to have someone do inventory, that it's just probably about a monthly is, what I'm doing. Within a month, I'm
Okay.
ordering some film. So once a month, if in the summertime, it could even be a 2-week period, but usually it's, I try to over order. I remember, I think your last stream you did, you made a comment about film taking a week to show up would be hard to work with. But that's kind of, you know, I don't pressure Ralph for the shipping, and the fact that it takes a week to get here, that's fine with me because I'm that prepared. And then that way, like even when we all got shut down for a little while and picked back up, you heard the rumors, you know, almost say like toilet paper. I had enough left over that I didn't have to worry about nobody having it anymore. And the same thing with the film, where people were saying they were all out of film. I'm thinking, well, how many boxes did you have before? I mean, I usually try to have that extra supply. If this is my bread and butter, I don't treat it like no big deal.
Right. Right. So then, okay, so you guys, see, that's kind of crazy that you say you push out 5% a lot. Because for me, it's 20%. 20% in my area goes like water. What is your guys' like tint laws in Northern California over there?
The easiest way to describe it is you just can't have anything on your front two doors, and you're not supposed to be tinting your full windshield. The law does say 70% for the front doors, which we explain is pretty much the same as saying the word clear. You wouldn't notice we tinted it if you put 70%. And then, you know, 35% or lighter does seem to be a shade that you can see a person's profile behind the glass, that usually they don't kind of pick on you. And then even in our town, I mean, even people do get the 5% and seem to kind of say the term get away with it. So the odds are in your favor, but just recognize that you could get the fix-it ticket and you can't talk your way out of it. And mostly, like you said, I mean, almost, you know, most of the jobs are just the darkest on the back and then a variation of what people want to do for the front doors.
So some people are doing 20% and doing that stuff on their front doors and just kind of seeing how it goes and stuff like that.
What's that?
Out there? So
the
some
5%.
People are doing 20%, like 20% fronts and stuff like that out there, or they're kind of like
no,
saying,
it's really common that, like we're saying, they're playing the law in their own hands. You know, they're definitely not following the law. Everybody comes in just like, you know, our memes and jokes that say, I want it dark but legal. You know what I mean? There is no such thing.
Oh yeah.
And after they say I want what's legal, they still wind up going with something in the 35% or darker. So like you're saying, it's crazy that you ask what the law is and then you go against it anyways. You know.
I know.
I've got 70% on my doors and my whole windshield because it's clear, and it just makes me feel safe to know that I don't have to question the question. You know, even when I used to have 50%, if I passed a cop, I'd always be like, looking in my rearview mirror over 50%. You know, there's people that have 5 on their doors, and I'm paranoid over 50%.
Right. Yeah, no, like, yeah. But then I know Jamie says does Flex Film offer samples? I don't know. You know, it's been so long for me. Maybe call Ralph and just see if he can, or message him on Facebook. I'm sure Ralph would try to do something to hook you up, you know, if you wanted some certain samples or something like that. He probably would. But so David, do you guys do, like, I know you mentioned before, now you guys are using NanoFlex. NanoFlex I've never used. I pretty much use Panaflex for my area. So how do you feel the NanoFlex is? You guys sell a lot of, is that your go-to ceramic, or do you have NanoFlex, Panaflex, and TerraFlex?
We have all three in stock. I wouldn't say that we try to talk people out of NanoFlex, but we definitely want to make sure that term, you know, if price is no object, that would be the best one to pick of a heat rejection. If you want heat rejection and a good product, I think Panaflex is perfect for anyone. And if not to say a budget, but if you just don't want to spend more than you have to, but you can still get a lifetime warranty, I think the TerraFlex is pretty much, I mean, I think it would be the personality, the person I am, I think I would want to put the Panaflex on my 2 front doors and then the TerraFlex on the back of the car, which is something we offer as well. So I could save a little bit more money, but still get something nice for my front doors as far as a heat rejection film. And that's why I have that 70%. It is ceramic tint on my front doors. And I think, honestly, I think my car, as old as it is, still has Lumar on the back.
Oh, yeah. I know Al from Intense is saying full windshields are getting a little commonplace. Full windshields nowadays is like, I mean, sometimes I do a couple a week. I do so many full windshields. I mean, even like most of the videos on my channel are full windshields because people are doing full windshields like out of this world lately. You know what I mean? I think like 6 years ago it was unheard of, but now you got people doing full windshields. I mean, I'm getting people asking full windshields all the time.
Yeah, it's scary too because we'll pull them in and then we clean their windshield and then there's just a small little chip, you know, and it's like, well, I wonder if they're going to try to blame it on us or if they knew it was there. Or, the concept of, you realize if you get a real chip big enough, whatever it costs to get your windshield, you got to buy it all over again if you get your windshield replaced. But it's
Right.
to us, it's a lot of extra work because I take the extra steps. I think that live video I made, I don't know if you got to watch it or not, but I think I only had like 3 people because it's in a private group. I think you and a couple other people are in it. But I'll kind of put a vinyl strip over the vents up front. We do the soap rope down the bottom and the towels. I mean, it takes all this extensive extra amount of time to do a windshield. So, I mean, it is definitely, it's almost like tinting the whole car all by itself. That's kind of the type of time and attention we do
Oh
with
yeah.
it to do a windshield. And
Oh yeah. Yep.
I seem to be able to take off quite a bit of the mirrors. Some of them I'll leave on there, but for the most part, I try to strip all that stuff off if I can.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And now a lot of these new cars have all this big plastic connection and all this stuff up there. I just did a full windshield on Cadillac XT4, a little SUV thing, and I tried to get that windshield thing off, and it was on there so tight. And you get to that point where you just don't want to press your luck, because I didn't want to break something on a brand new Cadillac. So then I'm trying to get the film to go around it. I'm trying not to crease my film, and finally got it laid up in there. But yeah, no, it's just crazy. Everybody wants these full windshields nowadays, man. And I try to take it off if I can. So
No, and even with our pricing, it's funny because when people, all of our quotes are just common 4 doors in the back window, and then when people ask about the windshield, they think they thought that it might have been included, and it's kind of like
right,
even like some people thinking like, it's just funny too, not say frustrated, but how customers, when you ask them, what are you trying to tint? And they say everything. Well, are you
right.
talking sunroofs? Are you talking full windshields? Just visor strips? Did you even know your windshield? What did you
Right.
mean by everything?
Right. And see, that's funny because the video I have coming out tomorrow is kind of based on that. Oh, I want to have my front of my car tinted. And you're like, well, front, do you want a windshield? Do you want a visor strip? Do you want just the front door? So the video I have coming out tomorrow, I already filmed it, I already edited. It talks about that. So check it out if you guys have time with this. People message me, oh, I just want my truck tinted. Well, what do you want tinted on your truck? Oh, I want the whole thing. Well, what do you mean by whole thing? Okay, give me some. If I quote you $800, I mean, I need to know exactly what you're talking about. So that video tomorrow, it's funny you mentioned that because that's gonna come out tomorrow, and I talk about that somewhat. But I know Jamie was talking about what's the process for going over a car before you tint. Do you have a check sheet or do you walk with the customer? That's a good question. That's a good question.
Personally, we have just a general checklist of what to expect for the job, but not anything to do with their car at that point. We ask
Yeah.
them if there's anything with their car we need to know about, such like sometimes people have a window that doesn't roll up or down.
Right. Yep.
And then for the most part, we'll pull in a car and, we look for some of the obvious things every once in a while. If it's a scratch in a glass, we'll definitely usually call the customer and say, do you realize you have this scratch that you probably are going to say you never saw it before because now your windows are tinted?
Right. Exactly.
Scratches and
Yep.
dings on the car, unless we notice something, we probably don't go over that as often as we could. I wouldn't even say should, because it's an endless, like I've heard people say, if it was a different a podcast or whatever before where they said that, it's like you could go over everything and then them sign for it and then them find something new and now say, well, you never mentioned this scratch when you told me that what was
Right.
wrong with the car. So that means you guys had to have created it. It could just open up another different angle if someone's, whatever. But we do have surveillance cameras that I've used a couple of times that people, whether you call it accused or assumed,
Right.
but I was able to give them footage from the moment they pull in off the street to the moment the car is being picked up and everything in between.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think about doing that, and I do that at my buddy's shop because sometimes you want to make sure. I can't remember what was the reason, but I have to admit, guys, I've been pretty bad about walking around a car and checking everything out first. Usually what I've been doing is I'll get to a window, I'll look that window over as I'm scrubbing it, and I look it over and I'm trying to see if there's anything, and if I see it, I try to note it, and then when they come back, I say, hey, you have this here. And a lot of people's like, oh, yeah, I knew I had that there. But luckily, I haven't run into that situation where they're like, oh, no, that wasn't there. But I try to tell people that right away, like, hey, I saw this or I saw that. So just so you know, this is there. And my customers are pretty down to earth, so I haven't had any issues. But I know Flavio said, how do you deal with shipping from Flexfilm? Do you pay extra to get it faster since he lives in California?
Yeah, I don't. I think that's what I was saying earlier. I don't pay extra, um,
Right.
but I don't know if what the price I'm getting is, like when people say they get not free shipping, but they, like if you order enough film, they don't charge you for shipping. So
Right.
I don't, I'm kind of happy with everything that's working out with Ralph on and Flex Films to make it sound like I'm not going to start asking for extra. Can I get my film sent faster? Because it's not an angle that I feel like if it is helping them save a little money off of me for that reason, you know, then it makes me feel better. You know what I mean? Rather than
Right.
trying to say I want this stuff in 2 days or overnight. Like I remember when I was with American Standard, their film did come like within almost less than 2 days. It was if I ordered it before noon, I'd have it the
Yeah.
next day. If I ordered it afternoon, it could take the extra day. But for the most part, I was almost like confused what to do with film that showed up this early. I'm so used to ordering it and waiting that whole week, and then when it comes in, I've given myself plenty of time to kind of double check the inventory and then make sure I got everything I ordered and then put it all away. Even that takes me an extra couple of few days since we're kind of busy enough tinting. I don't just stop what I'm doing and go over all the film. But
Right.
like I said, I don't know if I'm assuming like we're saying with Ralph, like you said, if somebody called and asked for a sample, I'm sure if he felt that it was a benefit to them and everything, of course he's going to go out of his way to do something for one person. And if another person that is buying film from him is adamant about getting film quicker, I'm sure if he wants to, just as we're saying, spend a little extra money on shipping, if it was important enough to that sale, I'm sure they'd do that too. But I've never
Right.
been too worried about, like I say, a week isn't too long for me to get the film.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. See, that's the good thing for me too, because if I order on a Monday, usually from Flexfilm, I have it on Wednesday, so I can always figure out what I need and order it, and it usually comes like clockwork. UPS got to be pulling up, and boom, 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 my tint will be there. So it's cool for me. I got the 2-day ship. That works out awesome. But yeah, no, like yeah, dealing with we had a customer about this. Someone was talking about scratch glass on a Silverado. It seemed like those Silverados and trucks like that always have scratch glass. And Tint said
Yeah,
that 21 Sonata had a bad spot in the laminate. That's crazy. Didn't notice it until they tinted it. Yeah, see, that's crazy. Some even new cars have issues on them. You just never know. So I mean, it is good to walk around a car and kind of check it out before you start messing with it. There's no way
I
around that.
usually do. I mean, when I say like if I'm the first person to deal with the customer, then I'll have them fill out paperwork. That's usually what we do, is have them fill out their receipt, and then while they're doing that, we go walk around their car. We're just doing a real generic, out of the obvious. What do I see?
Yeah.
Um, and then, like I say, sometimes we'll have like maybe multiple people dropping a car off. So I wouldn't say we have a program that if we didn't check someone's car, we didn't do it right, because sometimes, like I said, we're quick to, if a car gets pulled in later, hey, did you see this scratch, or did you mention this? And we ask each other, and then we say, well, let's call. And then or sometimes nothing's wrong enough to even decide to call. But like you say, I mean, we do try to check cars, but
Yeah.
I do think that statement, it hasn't been enough of a problem to change the routine we're currently invested in right now.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I know Webb's asked how long, why did it take Lexington so long to ship? Honestly, I don't know about Lexington. I guess you'd have to talk to them and see, where they're shipping from. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to check on that, because I don't know if you're buying it from Amazon. I don't know if you get it from Lexington's website. So that I don't know. But like I said, I know Dave and I both have mainly used Flex Film, so that's why we're kind of just talking about what we're experiencing and stuff like that. So. Now that's a good question. Do you guys offer other services other than tint at your location?
Myself, no, we're just
Yeah.
strictly window tinting. I mean, in a beneficial way to say it, we stay so steady and busy. Most of these other avenues, like for example, if I kind of dabbled a little bit in trying to do taillights, and it's too big of an adventure to let get in the way, that I don't really think it was profitable enough to get in the way. If it made more money and it didn't take up more time, then it would be a
Right.
no-brainer. But the fact that I'm struggling on, am I even doing this right? I don't know. I don't, nobody's teaching me. I'm just guessing. And
Right.
then
Right.
if you run into those issues where, if somebody's disappointed, I wouldn't really know if what they're looking at is worthy of saying that is what you paid for, or, like even in the beginning with the clear bras, um, I hear how some people wrap it around the edge. Some people stop on the edge. Some of these patterns are cut to the edge. I don't even
Right.
know what's acceptable, what's not. You know, what makes
Right.
one job even more challenging than another. I wouldn't even know where to begin. So we're just
We
kind of
got
like we say, we're just busy enough to stick with the tinting.
we got Texas Tint Masters in the house. What's up, Texas Tint Master? I know they run an awesome YouTube channel. If you guys haven't checked their channel out, check them out. I know Al was talking about full wraps. Yeah, Al, I've seen you with wrapping your truck. You just latest one you did, all that purple and stuff. So I know Al gets down with full vehicle wraps, and if it's sometimes it's a nice change. You know what I mean? Because I have a buddy that raps, and he and I will do raps together, and I'll do partials, and I'll do stuff, and I'll work on it, and he can come in and help me. But it's a nice change, you know. I mean, it's just like even doing flat glass. Do you guys find you knocking out some flat glass in your area, or kind of just leave that as well? You know, to have a different thing. You
The
know, in
same
your
kind
shop
of
or something.
story. I didn't realize really, not to say what I was doing, but like, you know, just hearing those rumors about not tinting on certain types of dual pane glass, what shades you should use, what shades you
Yeah,
shouldn't. You
yeah,
know, even to
yeah,
see people using caulking around edges, pulling seals. It's
yeah.
just like there's no one to train me, and if I'm not doing it right, I don't want to make someone pay for a service that I'm just guessing. I mean, I was theoretically trained to tint from experienced window tinters, and you know, I know that with the tinting social media now, I'm sure you could join a group and start getting questions answered.
Learn
But I
stuff.
would
Yeah,
just be one of those newbies that everybody attacks, you know, when you ask the kind of, you know,
yeah.
does the tint go on the inside or the outside questions.
You have to go through all that again, right?
But yeah, like I said, I'm just blessed that our business stays. Like even if we thought we would like want to do anything extra, chip repair, flat glass, any of that, we would have to bring in that whole separate entity so that we don't get interrupted with how busy we stay with just the auto tinting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and then like, even like Al said, you make more weight tinting the same time investors. So sometimes taking on new things, it's like you're frustrating yourself. You're trying to learn, is it okay? Is it going to come back? And you worry about where you're going to get it. Am I getting the best deal on this product? I'm now trying to learn this. I'm wasting it. No, it could be a lot. It could be frustrating if you're trying to do different things. So I totally agree. I mean, you know, and I kind of, when I was really slow and I wasn't like the last year or so, I've been crazy busy. But as I was working my main job and I didn't have a car for, you know, all week, doing a car on the weekend or something, I could kind of tinker around with my spare time and wrap headlights and do different things, you know. But like I got so busy like last year, I didn't have time to mess around with a lot, to experiment with new things, you know. So, you know, it's still like tint has always been the main thing. You know, I have access to wheels and tires. I can order some lift kits if I wanted to, but tint has just always been the main thing for me. You know what I mean?
No, I think out loud, if I just had that way to walk away from the shop, that would probably be where I'd want to walk away from, would be to adventure in some of those other avenues, like go to a maybe how to wrap car school or the clear
Right.
bra and see if it's something I could pick up on. Then now if I'm back to work, but the shop's running itself, you know, now I can spend some time working on these
Yeah.
other avenues. But, you know, I don't
Yep.
see that happening anytime too soon, if at all.
Right, right. Now I see. I would like to learn PPF because PPF it seems to be like blowing up crazy in the last year or so. I mean, I don't know if I want to even say last year or so, but maybe I'm just seeing it more. But PPF is blowing up. But I don't get a lot of requests from it here. But that just kind of makes it say like that could be something I could break into and be one of the main guys doing it. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm untapped market. You know, but I don't know how to do it. Like you said, I don't. I can do some of it, but I'm not confident to just bring it in here and knock it out. I know Texas Tint Master, they do a lot of PPF. So no, I mean, I would like to learn how to do PPF, you know, because I feel it's money left out on the table. But at the same time, you got to have that car sitting there all day. You need to have it drying. You need to get back to it hours later. Where tint, you can get it in and get it out and make your money. So it's hard to try to take on some of that stuff, you know?
Yeah, even when we get those windows that somebody from a body shop drops off, it's like that term throwing the wrench in the gears or whatever, where now we've got this window that just sits there, it's in our way, and then we got
Yeah.
to let it sit and dry, and then when you're tinting it, it kind of wobbles around. People ask us, if it's not a classic car, I'd rather it be in the car. If it's a classic car, I guess maybe you can bring it before you put it all back together. But if you
Right,
told me you
right.
got a 19 or a 2018 Honda Accord quarter window, do you want me to bring it to you before the body shop installs it? I'd say just go ahead and let them install it first, because I might drop it, break it, bend it,
Yeah. Yep. Then it could be a whole nother freaking issue. Yep. This is like Al said, he's turning out 1 to 2 PPF jobs a week. It's crazy. You see people wrapping whole cars in PPF, and you know they're paying thousands of dollars, but at the same time, the material is thousands of dollars. Just to get a roll of PPF is like thousands some dollars. It's crazy, you know what I mean? But you get your money out of it at the end, but it's just the numbers are just totally different with PPF. So it's crazy, you know?
No, and I agree. Like even doing the Tesla, what is it, the 3 or whatever with the bigger back window. I mean, it's a struggle to the point if you can get the help, it's nice to have help. But if you're doing it by yourself, you can do it. But like you said, if you're trying to PPF an entire hood, I mean, is that, you know, luckily the biggest things we deal with are the size of a door and your average smaller back window. But to do the hoods and the fenders and, you know, now in my mind, it just seems like this bigger sheet of film to work with.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts, man. And I like it's kind of intimidating to me, but it's like, okay, I know how to, you know, I feel like I've learned some things. I can wrap some hoods, wrap some cars. You know, I don't do a lot of it, but I feel comfortable with it. If someone dropped the car off, I can tint, I can do headlights and taillights. Like Al said, that Lux almost lays itself. And it was funny because I saw Matt, he did one of his live streamer, a couple of so, and he was messing with Lux too and trying to get it down. But, you know, if you've never done it, of course it's something new. But if you use Orcal in the past and tried to lay that and fought with that, then all of a sudden you get Lux, it's like, man, this stuff just lays itself, a little bit of heat it lays. So I mean, you know, we all learn that over time. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just, you know, certain things I'm comfortable with, but like PPF is just one of those things I keep thinking about, keep coming around to it, and maybe one of these days I'll kind of take.
Well, that's like I said, if I had the time to go take a school, and I do think, you know, even when you hear about people talking about going to tinting schools, I really don't think, from the way I was taught, that I would be able to learn how to do what I can do in just a week training, a 3-day training. You know what I mean? It took me 3 years to be able to say any car that pulls up now I could confidently hand cut it. 3 whole years. You know, maybe now with plotters, you know, maybe you can get away with 1 or 2 years and just learn how to tint if that's what you stick to. But with the PPF, same thing. I'm assuming same story. I could take a class, get the idea down, then start experimenting with it, and then maybe take the class again when I now know what better questions to ask and where I'm stuck and where I excel. I can focus on those problems. But with anything, you know, there's a learning curve. So to pick up, whether it's wraps or PPF or, you know, even lift kits and tires, you know, if I've never done it, I can't expect to just pick it up because it looks like it might make some extra money.
Right. This might not make that much sense right now. Like, why invest all that time in when I'm slamming tint out, knocking cars out, you know, 2 and 3, boom, boom, boom. It's like, yeah, it's just another thing on your plate, you know. So I definitely understand that. I definitely understand it. So what do you think? Like, so is there anything else that you think that possibly, like, let's take our business into this direction? What do you guys feel? You know, is going to be something that's going to be new for you guys, I guess, in the years to come. You know what I mean?
I think just the most thing we're focusing on is getting that employee crew kind of set in play. You know, I've usually always worked by myself with some somewhat, say, helper. Yeah. And then I usually might have that dedicated, you know, 1-person employee. I mean, I was working generally, you know, for the longest time I was working 7 days a week, and my helper would usually work 6. Or evened up to, you know, very rarely did I have a helper that only worked 5. And then I was by myself 2 days of the week. Now we're pretty much just 5 days a week, and it's nice to have that break, but I do some work, you know, on those extra 2 days, just the paperwork and stuff. Right, and so, like I mentioned, I think it's just good to try to implement a crew that's more based off of like running a real business. You know, like I said, when making sure someone else can order the film rather than myself, making sure we all do have more of a title than just because we're all good at it. We shouldn't just rely on that. We should actually have some type of program set. So like you're saying, in a couple, you know, hopefully a year, no more than a couple of years, have that real business orientated employees. What tier are you? Who's in charge of you? Who does what?
Yeah. So the other two, they're full time, so they get there and they leave all day too, or are they on a certain amount of time or something like that? They're there. Their daughter and their boyfriend are there.
We're all for Monday through Friday from 7 to 5. Okay. They show up about, you know, 7. They're, you know, if they're late, we're talking 1 or 2 minutes. And then, you know, if we have a car that, even if a customer hasn't picked up, they're pretty simple to stick around for that extra 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it takes for that last customer to show up. and
That's
they're
cool.
they're not complaining. It doesn't happen very often, but they're pretty much just 7 to 5 with a 5 days a week schedule.
That's cool. That's cool. So let's say so if you guys are starting at 7 all the way to 5, how many cars you guys think you're probably doing, let's say, in a week? Like what would be your estimate if you could
Well, I
just
usually
guess?
just give the answer on a daily basis, which is like 6 plus. You know what I mean? That's if things
Yeah.
are a casual day. Very rarely do we have like a 2 or 3 car day. But like we say, you get those. It's hard to answer the question because you might have, like, I think it was Friday, we had a handful of 2 front doors only, and maybe a
Right.
couple of visors, and then we'd have a full car. So you're looking at the numbers of cars and going like, wow, we did that many, and then you realize, well, 4 of them were all just 2 front doors, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah,
Right.
you're right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we
That's
don't get too
crazy.
many redos, but we get some warranties that come in, or people that just have old tint. So
Right.
those take a lot
So
longer, and you don't even know.
So then you have your paperwork. So then are you guys taking all your paperwork? So and so dropped their car off. They had a front visor or whatever, and you entering that all into something so that you can keep track of all that too. So like, oh, you bought your car in 2 years ago. I have you here. Like, are you doing all that too?
We're getting better with that program just from like the Google Docs and stuff. But I mean, we definitely have, our old receipts in that sense that if somebody asks, about a job they did, it might take a little extra time, but we could usually find something as far as if it was after, so many years ago.
Gotcha.
But we're trying to put
Gotcha.
stuff now, like, because that it's convenient to have the Google Sheets and the Google Docs it's almost like a cloud-based service. So we're able to kind
Right.
of enter things in there.
Right. Okay. Yep. Gotcha. Gotcha. Get out of here. Gotcha. So no, that's one thing I used to be really good on, but when I got super busy, it was just hard for me to keep track of everything. And I should be doing that, and that's kind of one of my things I keep kicking myself for. I need to really start implementing every car, boom, 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 what was on it, and yeah. So that's one thing that I kick myself for. That I want to start focusing better on it. So I was just kind of curious of what you guys do as well. So
Yeah, I think, like
yeah,
I said, I mean, I'll kind of show you one day, like I said, kind of how I set it up, and that might help you. Because it's like
yeah.
what we got going on in play right now seems to work out pretty well.
Nice, nice. Okay, okay, definitely. So one of my questions I was going to ask you too, like, I know you do doors and you guys have it set up for certain things, but what is the one thing, I guess, tinting a car that you feel like just irritates you? Like you're like, oh, I just don't feel like doing, but you push yourself through it to do it. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, sometimes for me, like sometimes in my mind, like I almost rather do a whole windshield sometime than doing a visor strip. Just little things like that are kind of just like, I don't know. Like some people, like a lot of people when they're new, they don't like doing rear glasses. They're like, oh, back window, shrinking a back window is so tough. To me, I enjoy doing back windows. I look forward to doing a back window on a sedan. And to me, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. I get excited about it. I want to heat it. I want to shrink it and watch the way the film melts. But what do you feel is like frustrating as far as tinting? Like you just kind of irritates you a little bit? Or do you even have that?
If I'm tinting by myself, like you said, I enjoy tinting the back window. That's my favorite. The doors just get a little frustrated because of the concept of, if you roll it up and it pushes the film down, if it gets
Yeah,
a little dirt on the edge, there's a little bit
yeah,
more steps, I think, on the doors. The quarter windows, because of just trying to tuck it inside rubber gaskets, is a challenge. And
yeah.
then the visors are going under the mirrors and just stretching over, because I always like to sit in the driver's side so that way I'm kind of more, I'm right-handed, so I kind of can control leaning over and using my right
Going over
hand.
to the right.
And then windshields, I guess, would be my least favorite thing to do. I mean, if I take my time, like we said, and I do it, I'm actually like overwhelmed. Like, wow, that came out pretty good. But I just feel like I'm more of a high-strung, fast-paced person, and that's not how I tint a windshield. But if I'm doing a
Yeah,
back window, I could really pick up the pace and still do a good job and just
right.
in and out and be more impressed at my speed, even though it came out really well. But a windshield, I have to take my time. So I
Yeah,
get a little frustrated, like, like,
yeah.
man, I could have tinted I'd have been done with a back window already. And then,
Right,
like I
right.
said, the visors I enjoy in the sense that a lot of them I hand cut, and I just kind of like, it's an accomplishment that, if you did it right, you got all the edges to the tint, all the edges around the mirror, kept it clean, kept the dash from getting wet. There's a lot of
Yep.
steps involved for the visors, which, even to say the least, is surprising how cheap some people say in the groups they charge for them. And it's not about
Yeah.
scrap film. as much as, you know, in a sense, the way I'd look at it as well, but it is the time. And even if you can do it quick and fast, doesn't make it, shouldn't make the job cheaper. You know, it's
Right.
still somebody else might
Right.
take, you know, 15, half an hour, where just because somebody on these groups say, oh, I knocked them out in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'll just throw the film on the top, cut it with the light and put it in, I'm done.
Yeah.
But it should still be worth as much as the time it can take.
Now we had a question about, do you offer specials for upcoming season like a spring and a summer sale?
Personally, we don't really run too many offers. I mean, I do think we seem to stay, as we said, steady enough. You know, I wouldn't say it's a good or a bad thing, but, you know, some of these, like, call them furniture stores, you know, they have those up and coming events. And that's kind of how they advertise. You know, that's the way they're getting their name out there, because they're advertising the next deal, the next special. And, you know, we just, I guess, kind of promote ourselves on a daily basis. You know, we're not really,
Right.
I mean, we have things we have ran as far as giveaways and specials, and those are somewhat similar to the same thing. But for the most part, we like to try to keep our prices consistent, other than certain jobs might cost a little bit more, but most of them are always kind of cut and dry, same pricing. And then as far as, you know, when people ask for multiple cars, you know, again, we're not trying to sound rude, but it's like, well, if you bring me 3 cars and I give you a discount, if we don't take your 3 cars, we're going to have 3 other cars not getting the discount. So, I mean, it's not really that big of an incentive for us because one customer has 3 cars.
Right, that's a very good point. I'm gonna have a car here if your car is here, and I'll be getting full price. So that makes like perfect sense. You know what I mean? Perfect sense. I forgot to ask this question, and Jay Bird he brought it up. The question: gloves. Dave is a religious glove guy, and you don't see that many people. Well, you see some. So how did you get on the gloves? Like, I think I cut my hand once, and I had to put a glove on it because I was kind of bleeding where I was, and I had a glove, and I was trying with it, and it felt weird. But like, so how you use gloves religiously? So what was your whole thing with using gloves?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I never really ever wore gloves. I think it wasn't until I kind of worked for myself. And in theory, when I was done tinting, I don't like using lotion, and I just felt like my hands were always dried out. And I don't like lotion, so of course anybody says just, you know, use lotion, and it's like I don't even like getting my hands wet, let alone put lotion on them. And then when I started using the gloves, it felt so kind of like what I was looking for. I take my gloves off, and I'm looking at these, other than a little sweaty, I'm looking at these freshly clean hands, rather than, you know, when I'm cleaning, call it, you know, bird poop off of back windows and just all sorts of junk in cars. I mean, I'm moving open wrappered old McDonald's hamburgers. Well, if I got gloves on, it doesn't bother me. I'm moving anything, car seats. I just feel more comfortable getting dirty when I have my gloves on. And then when I eat lunch, I feel like the same thing. It's kind of like I'm saying, if I take my gloves off and have a taco, and now I got, you know, a mess on my hands, why didn't I just leave my glove on, you know? So I do. I just like to, you know, so even if I'm doing dishes, I might throw gloves on, or if I come home, you know, got to go take the trash out and break down a bunch of boxes, I may even go put gloves on. I mean, like you're saying, I'm wearing them more than not.
Yeah, no, that's funny because I like to do a lot of stuff around the house, throwing cardboard and grabbing crap and picking up stuff, and I always put my little leather freaking work gloves on, and I'll be out there grabbing stuff, and then like I said, when I tint, it never crossed my mind to try a glove or whatever. But like I said, I did it for some reason. I can't remember why, and I actually did tint for a while with it on, and I was like, this is different. But yeah, it did.
Well, I would think, like we said, if I was on like vacation and somebody said, "Oh man, can you tint my windows? You know, what do we need to buy? We'll get the cheap stuff from the car store or whatever, and just buy some cheap tint." That would be on my list. Okay, well, I'm going to need some gloves. I need soap. I need, you know, and I'd even wear disc gloves if I had to. You know, I just don't like getting my hands wet.
But see, that when you say that, it makes me think of Johnson & Johnson. Now, I don't know what you guys use for a slip solution, but the Johnson & Johnson would make my hands just feel just messed up. So what do you guys use for slip solution?
I'm always using what comes with the film. What is it? Tack? What is it? Slip?
Okay.
No, Flex. Tic Tac. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always, like you say, as I mentioned, I buy enough film since I only do it once a month, and I overstock myself. I'm getting the free shipping. I'm getting the free soap. Because I order enough, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so, I mean, I was actually kind of excited to know that I didn't have to buy Johnson's anymore. And then I hear all these rumors how Johnson's, you can't even get the same soap anymore. You know what I mean? Everything. I mean, I'm sure even Tint Tac could change eventually. Who knows? But it's just nice to know that I don't have to worry about the soap problem, or not problem, but just the inventory. It comes with my film.
Yeah.
And
No, I love Tint Tac.
I use the pre-tack for back windows for the most part, but I don't use them on the doors. I usually just use it for back windows as a stage because I have my tub. I have a tub that has a separate bottle of pre-tack, and then that's how I start my back windows. But everything else, I just have a bottle on my hip. Even when I watch videos of anybody using the sprayers, I'm just kind of in my head. I use them for a little bit, and I just don't like the extra work to pump them up, get the right soap solution. Where is it, you know, but to just fill up another bottle because I'm low, I'll be halfway, and I know I'm going to be doing like a removal. I just dump it out and start over, and I know I have a full load of water. And with the tank, you know, I mean, there was probably a little bit that I was doing wrong, but I just never felt like I had enough pressure, and I just didn't like to understand, is the soap really mixed up inside there? With the bottle, I'm constantly shaking it everywhere I go. I'm shaking it before I make my first spray. I shake it when I'm walking around with it as it just kind of sloshes on my hip. With the tanks, they just sit there. Do you go over there and shake them, or, you know, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no. I had a tank and I stopped using it, and I thought to myself, I might start using it again because, you know, the Tint Tac mixes so well. So when you mix it, and I mix like gallon jugs of it, and I carry them around with me. I top my bottles off with those jugs, and I'm looking at it, and it always looks like once you mix it, it looks like it's totally mixed, and like I never had any problem. But I was using the tank at first with the Johnsons, and it started clumping. But when Tint Tac came out, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. You can leave it in your tank, you can leave it in your bottles. It doesn't clump up. It's freaking awesome. So no, I love Tint Tac. Yep.
Yeah, I do think, like I said, I think he's asking if they give it with the orders. I mean, again, like we said with Ralph and them, I would think, you know, as we say, it's not really the term exclusive, but that is the only film I use, and that's the only film I'm constantly ordering. So it's like I said, if I was a business selling film, and one person that bought pretty much film from me and was always using my product, as I said, as an incentive, yeah, I would want to give out my soap. Whereas, as we say, if somebody's just ordering a little bit at a time, you know, I could see why, you know, it's hard to answer questions. I don't know what Flexfilm does. You know, if they're giving out free product, I'd hate to say, oh, yeah, all the time. And someone's like, well, I've been ordering it for the last year and they've never offered me free soap.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Hey, well, David, I appreciate you taking the time out, man. I know things are probably going on. I'm going to wrap it up. It's been like over an hour, but I appreciate everyone stopping in. I learned a lot from you guys and how you guys run your business, and that's very cool. And I know a lot of people here, one guy like Flavio, he was here earlier. He said he's like 2 hours from you. Yeah, no, that's crazy. This is cool to be able to learn more about you guys and kind of learn some stuff of how you guys run your business and stuff. So, man, I appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah, you too. Like I said, it's nice when we get a chat once in a while. And then, like you said, it's nice what you've got going on with your show. And it looks like I said, even like, you know, it's just hard to keep these things in a religious direction, you know, and you've been doing that for quite a while now. So I'm proud of you. Like you said, I recognize you just from the YouTube and everything. So it's nice to get to talk to you and see your show. So I'm glad I was on it with you.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, when I started, I never totally thought it was going to be an interview show or anything like that, you know, because like I said, we've seen Tint Wiz and stuff like that. He had his whole style of thing, but like I think for me, it's like being able to talk to people that I follow and engage with. It's cool to be able to have like this one-on-one, and then other people in here, they're telling me they know you, and you know, people with the comments, and you know, we see each other on Facebook and stuff like Al and Jay Bird and stuff like that. So no, it's all cool, man. It's like we all get to hang out and kind of rap for a while. So
no, it's just like we said last night. Like we said, people that like car shows, you know, they all get to talk about their car shows, and we're just, like you say, a tinting industry community that get to talk about tinting. So it's neat to talk with people that are in the same field.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm going to wrap up. Yeah. I'm going to go and get some stuff ready. But, man, I appreciate you taking the time. And like I said, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. We'll be working on something. But like we talked about earlier, though, tint in terms of someone saying, I want a front done, or can you just tint this front window? And you're like, what? I have a video coming out kind of talking about that briefly tomorrow. So hopefully you guys be able to check that out, too. But I appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for stopping through.
All right, man. Thanks awesome. Everybody.
Have a good one. All right, guys. Hey, I don't know if you guys remember, that was Dave. So check out his links in the social media, man. If you guys want to go follow him, check him out, man. You know, Dave, I've been watching Dave on YouTube, and he has his total sense of how he creates his videos and how he wants to make videos in his mind and stuff like that. Jamie, once again, man, I appreciate you throwing out super chat, man. Let me know if I can get that tank from you. I will pay you for it, no problem, because I'm gonna try to set some different things up with a different tank and stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out with me for a little over an hour. We almost had an hour and 20 minutes. Thanks, David, for stopping in. Jay-Bird got here a little bit late. I know Jay-Bird's working on a little live stream himself. He might be cooking up something coming up pretty soon. We'll have to be checking out Jay-Bird's live stream. So, man, Jamie, everyone, thanks you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping in. Yeah, no doubt. I'm glad you knocked that Beetle out, though, man, because, like I said, a lot of people talk, oh, the Beetle's this and that, but, man, you just focus, do your thing, and you can knock it out. I didn't know you wouldn't have a problem, you know? So, hey, guys, appreciate it for the little Sunday night live stream. Thanks, Dave, for stopping in. We will see you guys probably Wednesday night. If you guys are hanging out, we'll be here Wednesday night again. We'll stream. We'll talk some more tint talk. But I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Have a good one.